Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my weekly deck reviews. I'm doing things kind of different today, very tiny difference, but I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I just want to give you a quick little rundown. Weekly Deck Reviews is my weekly video series where I share with you the decks that I have been working with over the past week, and I give you a little spoiler about what I'm going to be working with this coming week. So today I'm going to be talking about my last week of my month of Halloween and spooky decks. And this last week I have been working with the Halloween Tarot in a Tin. This deck is super cute and I really enjoyed working with it. For starters, I really enjoy this size of deck. It's just kind of fun to have a deck that's small. Now I know lots of people have trimmed this deck, or maybe not the tinned version, but the full size. They've either trimmed it or they've blacked out the borders. And I completely understand why, because this deck would look much nicer, I think, borderless, but for some reason when it's a tinned deck, I just don't like messing with the size. I don't know that I would bother getting this deck in a full size, mostly because I didn't mind working with the size. It was kind of fun to do bigger spreads more easily, and I did a lot of Halloween and Samhain spreads over the last week just for me. I didn't share any of those on social media, but I don't think I actually shared any posts of myself working with this deck on social media this past week. It's just been a very introspective week. I've been doing a lot of personal work, but this deck reads really spot on, and there's things about it that feel very nurturing and playful, but it gets the message across, which I really enjoyed. There's a lot of little hidden kind of Easter eggs, and one of my favorite things about this deck is this little black cat. So here you can see him down here, and he's playing with a little pumpkin ball or a little tiny pumpkin toy or something. He is in every single card, and it's just this fun little aspect to this deck that it's just kind of neat to look for him and kind of get his take on the situation, because he's looking at the situation from his perspective. This is the first card I just realized I can't see the cat in it, which is really interesting. I think this is the only card. I'm going to show it to you. Maybe you guys will spot him, but I don't see the cat anywhere in this image. Interesting. But I literally see him in every single other one. Like, look at this one. It's so great. Anyway, I had a lot of fun working with this deck, and after my experience with the Tarot of Haunted House, I was really pleased to play with this and get into it. The little guidebook that comes, the little white book that comes with the tinned version, was actually really good. I loved the messages in here. They were easy to understand. This would be a fantastic beginner deck. If like you're a beginner who's always read with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and you're looking for something fun for Halloween, this would be my #1 recommendation, just because it is very Rider-Waite-Smith, but it has this sort of fun Halloween take on it. So it's not a huge leap from that traditional imagery. It's just revamped a bit. And yes, the suit names are changed. So cups are ghosts, swords are bats, pumpkins are the pentacles, and imps are the wands, and I really loved them. This is actually one of my favorite cards out of the wand suit, because it's a different take on the wands on this particular card. Every time this comes up, all I can think of is like you're wrestling with things, you're having to kind of control your impulses, and there's some fun things to play with in that image that I really appreciated playing with. But yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff in this. This was super fun. There is a full-sized version, just the deck, and there is a full-sized boxed version of this deck. And somebody told me that it's possible to get your hands on just the guidebook as a standalone, like the full-size guidebook. I may or may not do that next year. I haven't really decided, but this was a very easy read, super fun. Loved kicking this around in my bag with me all week. It was fun. I have no complaints. And it read really beautifully. I feel like I'm sitting down like I'm slouching. Okay, anyway. The Oracle deck that I've been working with this week is the Halloween Oracle. I did trim this. I made it all orange and black. I talked about this deck last week because I actually used this Oracle deck 2 weeks in a row. I really enjoyed working with this deck. It felt really nurturing. As much as I think this is a versatile deck you can use at all times of the year, I do think that I will typically want to play with this during the month of Halloween. It's lovely. The messages are good. It's not the kind of deck that like knocks my socks off, but the artwork is stunning and the messages are good and it feels solid. Do you know what I mean? Like there's nothing in here that like turned me off or was a downside. It also didn't like super crazy inspire me. It was just in that nice, stable, sort of middle of the road. I knew what to expect. I knew the kind of messages it was going to give. It was useful, it was helpful, and it's also affordable and really easy to get your hands on. So definitely a deck that I recommend. Especially, it was just fun to work with the Halloween Oracle and the Halloween Tarot. Even though the artwork is not cohesive between the two, I still really enjoyed working with them together. So there's that. And it felt very cohesive in a way because this is Halloween themed and so is the tarot. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. The guidebook for this is actually pretty good. And sometimes these Oracle deck guidebooks are hit or miss. This one, the entries are not too long, so I actually did typically read the entire entry every time I did a daily pull. And I liked the little sort of poem-y things that were in here. And yeah, but I didn't feel like I needed this. This was like an add-on that I enjoyed, but not something I felt like you needed to really cling to in order to use the deck effectively. So really enjoyed it, happy about it, and we'll be looking forward to playing with it probably next Halloween season. So the reading cloth I used all week is this really fun one that Peggy made. And it's just really super Halloween-y. It's just got like the black cats and the scrying balls and the palms with the skulls and these like the moon. And it kind of looks like you could imagine that this was a deck of cards on the fabric pattern or whatever that's just being repeated. So I really like that about it. I do think that of all of my reading cloths, this is the only one I have that glows in the dark, I think. There might be one other one, but it's really cool at night. If you have this laid out on your table, or like if you are weird like me and sometimes put it up like on stuff, you'll see that like the little cat's eyes glow and some of the card borders sort of glow. And there's some other like just in every single little piece of the image, there's like an element or two that glows, and it just gives it a really cool sort of spooky feel. And I loved it. So yeah, that is that. The other thing that I am wrapping up, because this last week was also the last week of the month and I am now working with one Lenormand deck every month. This will be my, I'm going to be putting away my Under the Roses Lenormand, which is the deck I worked with all through October for my daily Lenormand readings and for just any Lenormand readings I happen to do. And where did it go? There we go. Okay, I've got all the cards. This one has some extra cards as well. There's an extra man, an extra woman, and an extra child. And I'm going to show you those actually because this is a very sort of Victorian feel deck, so it does tend to be pretty, I guess technically lacking in diversity. There's like the figures that are in most of the cards are fair-skinned, but they do give you an extra man, woman, and a child, and I like that they incorporated people of color into those extra cards so you can pull that element in. So you could either swap those out entirely or you could use these as your extras or however you want to work it out. But yeah, I really like that they did that. That was a cool touch. The neat thing about the Under the Roses Lenormand, here's the backs. Did I edge this one? I don't think so. But the neat thing about this is that the images are really super clear, and there's, in very faint writing in the back, there are like kind of like a wallpaper that's behind the image. You'll see very faintly some keywords for the cards. I don't find that a particularly useful feature because a lot of them aren't really all that visible, but it's neat that they're there, and I kind of just think that's cool. The only thing that I would say kind of annoys me mildly about this deck is there's some changes to some of the card names. So let's see if I can find a couple here. There's only a couple. Let's see. I'm trying to remind myself which ones they are. Obviously it didn't bug me that much because I got over. Okay, so the tower is the clock tower, which isn't a big deal. It kind of keeps with the aesthetics. The birds are the owls, which is fine. I kind of just wish it would still have said birds, even though, because owls are a type of bird, aren't they? Please somebody tell me if that's wrong, because it might be. Instead of the coffin, we have the grave. And instead of the book, we have the journal. Now what's interesting to me about this is because this says journal, when I'm doing readings with this deck, I find myself going more to sort of the secrets sort of meaning for this card and not so much knowledge or learning, which is, I think when it's just a book, you can see it as a journal or a diary, or you could see it as just a book. And I feel like because it says journal, it did pigeonhole my readings a little bit. Was that the only other one like that? I thought there was one. Oh yeah, the other one is, instead of the heart, we have the locket. Now I appreciate that this is an image of a locket, But I would have been fine if this image was still a locket and it said the heart, because again, locket implies a different kind of thing, at least for me. Locket can be that sort of like memory of love, so I don't know, it just, it got to me a little bit, just mildly, but it was there, so I thought I'd mention it. And I also wish that the snake card just had a snake. I don't like that there's a person in this card, because while the snake can and often does talk about it does refer to a person, I don't like that it's now a gender as well, because that was a female person, and I don't like that overall vibe. I would prefer it to just be a snake. And also, some people don't use the snake in Lenormand to mean somebody who is like sneaky and bad, right? Sometimes people use that card to mean transformation and shedding skin. So depending on how you read the card, so yeah, I think I prefer the symbols to just be what they are and let individual readers interpret them in whatever direction they're going to interpret them. And I am still working with my runes. So this isn't changing, I'm just kind of reminding you guys, but my runes are made from local pine, and they're beautiful, they're nice and big, they smell amazing, and I've been working with a rune every single day, and that's been a really nice part of my practice. I have occasionally done like a 3 rune spread, but very rarely, maybe once or twice in a month, not often. I really enjoy using these for every single day pulls though. So next week, I'm going to be working with, I'm so excited about this. I'm also very excited about this bag. Peggy found this fabric, or I found this fabric. I can't remember which one of us spotted it in the fabric store. And I was like, I need that bag, and I will eventually have a deck that will be perfect for it. But it's like this really cool, like sort of leopard or giraffe spotting, but it's got this like metallic gold outline on every single spot. And I love that it's rainbow, and it's so pretty. So the deck that lives in here is my new Affirmators Tarot. I have been dying to work with this deck, but I wanted to move through my Halloween and sort of spooky decks in October, so I'm super stoked to whip this one out and play with it. It's in like a clamshell style box, but it's a little different of a kind. It's like a firm box here, so it's not like a flap or magnetic or anything, but it opens that way. There's like a really nice sewn guidebook insert that's like really good quality, and the cards themselves are really good quality. So now it's just a matter of playing with them and seeing how they read for me. So I will link up in the cards my walkthrough, because I did a very detailed, I think a pretty detailed walkthrough of this deck on my channel. Look at that gold. Oh, it's so pretty. So I'm going to be really excited to see how it works when I actually go to read with it. So I'm really stoked about that. The Oracle deck I'm going to be working with is still in its shipping box. I actually haven't even unwrapped the plastic from this yet, and that's what I'm literally doing next, is I'm going to go film my unboxing and flip through, but I'll at least show you the outside of the box, which again still has its plastic wrap. But I'm going to be, and this is what's different about this video, this is what I was hinting at the beginning, is that I can't show you anything because I haven't even taken the plastic off. But this is the Lucky Potion Oracle. This is by the creator of the Oddity Tarot, which was a Majors Only Kickstarter backed deck. The creator's name is Richard, and you can find him on Instagram under Oddity Tarot, is I believe. I think I might be wrong about that. It might be like, I might be wrong about that. I will try to remember to put a link down below for where you can find this creator. He's working on another, okay, let me back up. I'm really excited. And when I get excited, I get squirrely. So first of all, the Lucky Potion Oracle is a really neat deck where you have an Oracle deck of square cards. Each card has a different potion. There is a little dice rolling mat in here and a single die. And you pull your card or cards and you roll the die to see whether you drink the potion or how you interact with the potion. And based on how your dice roll comes up, that's how you kind of pull your meaning. It's so creative. I'm so excited to dive into this. I cannot wait to open it and unbox it in a minute, but it's a really cool mechanic and I'm really excited for it. He's working on another deck now called Exquisite Familiars, which is like, do you remember as a child those books you'd get where you could like flip, the book would be divided into either halves or thirds, and you could like change out the head, change out the body, and like change out the legs of like different animals or like monsters or fashion if it was like people. Oh my God. Okay, so Richard is working on an Oracle deck called Exquisite Familiars, where you have a bunch of like front halves of the creature and a bunch of back halves, and the meaning for the card shifts depending on which combination of head or of like front half and back half you get, because it changes the creature. Life. It's giving me life. Like Richard is so creative. I just can't. It's so unique. The mechanics that he's been like playing with as part of his decks. This is the first one. Cannot wait to play with it. That's what I'm gonna say about it for now. You can see more excitement when you see my unboxing, which will be up later because I still need to film it. And today is Saturday and this video is going up tomorrow. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. So the reading cloth I'm going to be working with is a new one that Peggy made for me, and I think she might have one of these in her shop. Don't quote me on that. But it would have a different backing, I think. But it's purple crystals, and look at these cute, adorable little dragons. Like, this is literally the perfect cloth to use with that Affirmator's Tarot, so I just have to. And I whined and whined until she put her other crystal fabric on the back for me. So it's like purple crystals on the front with the little dragon friends, and then these like really cute green crystals on black on the back. And I am super excited to be playing with this one this week. And last but not least, the Oracle deck that I'm going to be working with throughout November is my very favorite card-based Lenormand, and it is the Clair de Lune Lenormand by Anna Turian. I love this deck. I do believe that she is reprinting this deck soon, but I don't think it comes in the tin anymore. I think it will be in a tuck box. But it's a really, really beautiful deck. That's what the backings look like. It's all done in this moon coloration, so with that like pale yellow and blue, and there's some like pinks in there, so it literally looks like moonlight. Oh, I threw the card and it landed on my dog. Okay. Anyway, I really love this one. I'm really excited to play with this throughout the month. So yes. And there are there extra cards in this one? I can't remember. Yes, there is an extra man and an extra woman card. So I have those in there. And then I have the title card. And you do not get a little white book with this. Just putting those down so I don't drop them. But you do get this nice little fold-out pamphlet. I don't know if this is going to be available in the new edition or if the new edition will just have like a PDF. But this is what you get, is you get like all the images and the cards with some keywords. With Lenormand, I don't feel like guidebooks are really necessary. And in fact, if you're new to what was I saying? Some funky word is about to come out of my mouth. But if you're new to Lenormand, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do is sit down with your deck that you're going to be working with and just flip through the cards and write down your personal keywords for the deck. I think that's a really valuable practice because you can eventually refine those and add guidebooks, words that you get from guidebooks and Lenormand books or videos or whatever. But if you start out with like sort of your base set of your own, then you can tweak and refine from there, and you're more likely to remember them because the keywords actually are what you think of when you see that card. So just, anyway, random Lenormand tip for you. So I'm really excited to be working with that through November. I may or may not show this again on the channel throughout the month because it kind of can get redundant. But yeah, I'll still be working with that with Lenormand, and I'll still be working with my runes alongside my tarot and oracle deck of the week. So that is it. I would love to hear what you guys are working with this week, what you worked with last week, if you rotate weekly like I do, or if you just want to share what you're currently playing with or what you're looking forward to playing with. Love to hear that. Let me know down below. Sometimes I find out about great new stuff from you guys, so I can't wait to hear. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Bye!